Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to the eighth inning stretch. I'm AJ. He's Carson. Carson, we've only been off a week, but with everything that's happened, because as usual, we take a week off and the baseball news cycle goes nuts. It feels like we've been off for a month.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, we every time that if you guys are ever like not you feel like there's not a whole lot of baseball, just tell us to take a week off because it'll all happen during that week. My goodness.
Yeah, it'll all happen while we're off. Yes, so lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about. But a bit of housekeeping before we get started. Yes, we're on a little later than we normally are. Carson had a wedding in Wisconsin you went to, right?
Yes, indeed. So fresh off of the just under 2-hour drive. So apologies to everybody for being a little bit later on, but we are also humans. We also do have things that happen.
Yes,
sometimes on shows. So
yep, definitely. So we're live as we are just about every Sunday on YouTube, on Twitter, and Carson, for the first time ever today, we're also live streaming on our own website at eighth-inningpod.com, which I can't tell you how exciting that is.
Yeah, absolutely a huge step for us for the show, to be able to get it working, to be on our own website, just to give you guys another way to tune in is absolutely amazing.
Yep. So if you guys, that's something you guys have been asking for a while, so we decided to just kind of give it a show. See what the kind of what your guys' response is and engagement levels and stuff like that. That's at eighth-inningpod.com/livestream. Right now there's you just click on over there and there's the video player is right there on the page, and
oh, AJ, you still there? Okay, we may have lost AJ, which, if for those of you who have been listening to some of the past episodes, we've had some technical difficulties, but as we always do, we'll work through them here. Just want to give us a quick second here to see if AJ comes back. And it looks like he does indeed have some technical issues going on. So let's just kind of jump right into things. Let us go to poll question.
I knew it was too good to...
Oh, he's back. There we go.
I knew it was too good to be true that everything was running smoothly. Yeah. If you guys caught our last episode, you know that we had some major, or I had some major technical difficulties, where I ended up having to switch over to my laptop because my PC was being difficult. So I guess we'll just keep an eye on that. Did you guys hear any of my opening spiel? Did any of that cut through?
Yeah. For me, you cut off right about halfway through. We were talking about halfway through. You were talking a little bit more about the live stream on the show page, and it cut you off.
Oh, awesome. Anyways, follow us at Eighth Inning Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to Two Strike Count. Check out the Book of Baseball, which, yes, we are aware of an issue some of you guys are having with watching the Book of Baseball. So we are working on getting that fixed for you. But all that's at eighth-inningpod.com. And of course, you can help us continue churning out awesome
Oh, AJ.
in
Oh, there you are.
baseball content by supporting the show, either using the camera. Yeah, so let's get to all this craziness that we've been talking about. Let's start with our poll question. We asked you guys who is the best starting pitcher in baseball right now. And the results are as follows. Shota Imanaga came out on top with 31% of the vote. The Phillies, Ranger Suarez, 29%. Other, 24%. We'll talk about that in a second. The Tigers, Tarek Skubal, 9%. And Cutter Crawford for my Red Sox, 7%. First of all, Carson, people need to start putting some respect on Cutter Crawford's name.
Cutter Crawford and Tariq Skubal both. Put some respect on these boys' names.
And let's throw Tanner Houck in there while we're at it, because Tanner Houck has emerged as the ace of the Red Sox staff.
Yeah, which, boy, did I not think I was going to ever say that about Tanner Houck. No disrespect to Tanner Houck.
Nope, me neither. But I guess that's what happens when your big off-season free agent pitching acquisition, Lucas Giolito, is goes out for the season. So yeah. Start putting some respect on Cutter Crawford and Tarek Skubal. That said, I can't say that I necessarily disagree with Shota Imanaga getting the most votes in this poll.
No, I can't necessarily say I disagree with it either, and it was very close between him and Ranger Suarez as it should be. I am so incredibly curious. The 24% of the other. The fascinating thing is I feel like there's a few different others that you could really put in there. I wonder if maybe there's a little bit of Paul Skeens hype going into that, maybe a little bit of Luis Gil as well, who has been absolutely phenomenal for the Yankees, and we're not going to talk about how he got acquired. traded to the Yankees by the Twins for Jake freaking Cave. Maybe a little bit of Zach Wheeler still in there, but very, very interesting. Usually we don't see other getting this much in the poll.
that many votes. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I was kind of trying to rack my brain. I was like, okay, who are the others? Yeah, Paul Skeens, like you mentioned, the others. Maybe some. I mean, this could be my inner Mariners fan talking, but maybe some George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. I was trying to think of other. Oh man, I was trying to think of other pitchers who have had. There's a. I can't really think of anyone else off the top of my head. But yeah, very, very interesting that other got 24%. I feel like Shohei we've talked about ad nauseum on the show this year, and rightfully so, because he's been ridiculous. I feel like Shota Imanaga and Ranger Suarez could be those two are pretty much interchangeable.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them have been absolutely fantastic thus far, and shout out to Ranger Suarez, because he has been doing this consistently and finally is having some people put some respect on his name.
Yeah, I feel like we've been hearing about Ranger Suarez for like the last, I don't know, what 3 or 4 seasons?
At least.
Carson.
Hello. Hello. I'm still here. Oh. Okay, now I can't tell if it's on me or if it's AJ that's having some issues. So I'm just gonna assume that it's maybe AJ, but we'll just apologies again, everybody, for all of this. We're still trying to work out some kinks, as you all can tell, but yep. So it looks like it was maybe AJ, but yeah, again, shout out to Ranger Suarez. His name's been thrown into a lot of these conversations and then kind of dips off a little bit towards the tail end of the season, but nice to see that his name is getting recognized. Let's. Oh, AJ's back. There we go.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, it's deja vu all over again. From last week. Hang on, everybody. I am in the process of firing up StreamYard on my laptop because, yeah, I'm not playing this game again. Anyways, so while I do that, so I'm going to multitask here for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, just one last quick thought on the poll. Yeah, Carson, I feel like Shohei Ohtani and Ranger Suarez are pretty much interchangeable. And I feel like we've been hearing about Ranger Suarez for, the last 3-4 seasons at least. This dude's has made himself into a household name.
Yeah, he's been very consistent during his time in MLB, and it feels like a lot of times he kind of started off well, but then maybe just kind of faltered off a little bit as the season went on. But I see no reason for that to happen this year.
Yeah. Although he did just get, I think it was last night's game, he did just get injured. Took a comebacker in his hand, I think, and ended up leaving the game early. So hopefully he's okay. Yeah, I just pulled up the the pitching stat leaders because I was trying to rack my brain for other, who people voted for other. This name I completely forgot about this dude. Seth Lugo, from the Royals.
Yeah, talk about a career renaissance for Seth Lugo.
Yeah.
He has been a huge part of that Royals team.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. Who else is on this list? Corbin Burns, obviously. Tanner Houck, nice to see his name near the top of this list. Luis Gil, you mentioned. Yeah, there have been some. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical when I saw the 24%, other, and I thought I was a bit skeptical of that. But you know what? Looking at this list of the pitching, the statistical leaders, yeah, I can kind of see it. All right, guys. Well, I'll give you a pass on the other. Well, I'll give you a pass. So anyways, that's the poll for this time out. There will be a new poll up tomorrow, Monday, at eighth-inningpod.com/poll. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see. I mentioned the Book of Baseball thing. Yeah, so apparently producer Tasha was getting some let me know that she got some emails from you guys saying that you were having playback issues. Like you were going to watch Book of Baseball and we're having some playback issues and whatnot. So like I said before, we are 100% absolutely looking into that. We will get it fixed. We will get it back up so that you guys can watch Book of Baseball. Since there are now 2 episodes out and a third one coming later this month. So yeah, just I guess just keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep you guys posted on how we're doing with that. Actually, let's see here. When is the next one coming out? I think Sorry, guys. I've got two screens going right now as I'm trying to get my laptop set up so I can swap over to streaming from there if I have to, which I probably should just do anyways, but we'll see. Let's see. Yes, the new episode of Book of Baseball comes out will be out June 21st. It's called The Summer That Saved Baseball. It's sort of if you guys have had a chance to watch the most recent one, the World Series, that wasn't the next one, The Summer That Saved Baseball, is sort of a sequel-ish type deal. Basically because it follows directly behind the World Series that wasn't, which is about the strike-shortened 1994 season, and The Summer That Saved Baseball. After the strike-shortened 94 season and canceled World Series, the 1998 home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa was exactly what baseball needed. And Carson, you and I have talked about that before. I know you weren't around for the 1998 home run chase, but you've obviously seen and heard and watched stuff about it. Quite literally saved baseball after 94 because baseball was dead and buried after what happened in 94 with the strike.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how tainted a lot of people think, and it is, that is one of the biggest events in baseball history. Not only just for the history chasing itself, but like you said, the significance of getting an audience back to the game that hadn't been seen because of what happened in 94.
Yep. It got people back to the ballpark. And yeah, it's obviously it's obviously a little bit of a complicated legacy, like Carson alluded to, because of what we know now about steroids and whatnot. But regardless, if that 98 home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa doesn't happen, I don't know where baseball is now. So anyways, yeah, so that comes out on June the 21st, so keep an eye out for that, and also keep an eye out for updates from us about getting the current episodes of Book of Baseball back up and running for you guys. So anyways, yeah, lots and lots to talk about. We are going to talk about more baseball, but before we get to that, Carson, man, we've got to do another one of these, and I hate doing these. I hate how much I'm getting used to doing these. But I guess that's kind of, just what it is. The great Bill Walton, legendary basketball player and equally probably legendary broadcaster, recently passed away.
Yeah, huge, not only just a huge loss to the NBA family, but huge loss for the world. From everything that I've read and listening to his broadcasts and stuff, it feels like that man lived his life to the fullest with a smile on his face every chance he got, especially after his playing career. And I mean, I think that's the thing that we can't let get lost in the shuffle with, especially with this passing of Bill Walton, is that, was he a great player? Absolutely, he was a great player on the court. There's a reason why he was part of the NBA's 50th anniversary and 75th anniversary teams. But all in all, everything I've read and seen from all the tributes, it just sounds like he was a great human overall. And I had the chance to kind of listen to some of his broadcasts, listen to him do radio interviews and stuff. He was funny. Like, he was hilarious behind the mic, wherever it was he was doing. So obviously, thoughts and prayers to first and foremost the Walton family, but also all of his teammates, the NBA family, because again they lost a brother, a teammate as well.
He always, anytime you saw him on TV, he always had a big grin on his face. Obviously his legendary NBA career, but also, Carson, a legendary college career, playing for, in the early 70s, for another legend, John Wooden, and the UCLA Bruins. Back-to-back national championships in 72 and 73. And then, of course, that historic, as still untouched, 88-game winning streak. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, got himself picked first overall in the 1974 NBA draft.
Yeah, just as a little
not too
side
shabby.
note.
Not too shabby at all. And then followed it up with a legendary broadcasting career. Yeah, no. Bill Walton was a once in a lifetime talent, on the court and off the court. And I mean, his resume speaks for itself. 2-time NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, MVP, 2-time All-Star. I mean, this is ridiculous. And obviously enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame, out there in Springfield. So yeah, that was some sad news to come across the other day. So yeah, like Carson said, all our thoughts and prayers and good vibes and everything to Bill Walton and his friends and family, and his extended family.
Oh, AJ? All right, we might be at laptop time, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe we have in fact lost
Sports personalities have
AJ
with him.
here.
So, hello, I'm here, guys. Hello, Carson.
Hello.
Okay.
I think it's on my end this time around. My computer.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello?
I think I've solved the issue. Are we good?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic.
That was on your end.
Yeah, my computer is it's a little bit like how do I compare this? It's a little bit like Byron Buxton. If I make the wrong move, something's going to go wrong. And yeah, it happened. Oh. Boy, all the technology apparently is just breaking down today.
Yes, it is. It's one of those days, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Bill Walton. Obviously, sad news. So, anyways, all right. At long last, to baseball. Bad news for Braves fans, Carson. Bad news for Braves fans. They've already lost. The Braves have already lost Spencer Strider for the year. And now they've lost their superstar outfielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., tore his ACL in a game against the Pirates. And I really don't know what else to say to Braves fans other than this really sucks. And you never want to see any player get hurt, but you especially do not want to see a player of Ronald Acuna Jr.'s caliber go down.
Yeah, and I'd also like to take this time to congratulate the Philadelphia Phillies on officially clinching the NL East. But yeah, obviously,
yeah.
When I saw this news drop, instant reaction was, oh no. This is a Braves team that now, like AJ alluded to, this is a Braves team that has already lost Spencer Strider for the year, and now down goes Ronald Acuna Jr., who that's your top two players right there. That's it. credit to the Braves. They've been playing well despite that. Still, not totally out of things. 7.5 games back of the Phillies right now, who have been
Oof.
absolutely on fire.
Mm.
But again, kind of that next man up mentality. The Braves have enough depth, I think, where obviously you're not gonna replace a player of Ronald Acuna's caliber. You're just not.
Nope.
But I think they've got enough depth where they'll be relatively okay. I do think at the end of the day, this very much hurts their NL East division title chances. I think this very much hurts their playoff chances, their World Series hopes. But they've got like I said, they've got plenty of depth, I think, to be able to get the job done. And I mean, speaking of, alluding to Spencer Strider, Ronaldo Lopez is a guy who has done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Kind of being that next man up after Spencer Strider went down. So who's to say that they can't get another production out of somebody else in the same vein?
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for the next man up thing, and and it's always great to see teams, to be able to be resilient and sort of weather their way through injuries like this. Yeah, but no Spencer Strider, no Ronald Acuna Jr. And I mean, you mentioned the way the Phillies have been playing. The Phillies have been just on a tear. I'm Carson. I don't know. I'm starting to hear phrases. I'm starting to hear words like single season wins record and breaking the 2001 Mariners record. I'm starting to hear that kind of stuff surrounding the Phillies. And well, I do think it is a bit early. I mean, it's June now. I mean, we're what, a third of the way through the season? A quarter of the way through the season, which is nuts. But yeah, unless all four wheels come off for the Phillies, and their engine dies, I don't see the Braves catching them in the NL East. Not without Strider, and certainly definitely not without Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like I think that at this point, I would say shut up and take my money to throwing an NL East bet towards the Philadelphia Phillies if I were the betting type. Over the Atlanta Braves.
I got to be honest. Go ahead.
But I think to kind of sum everything up here, I think the bigger problem that we've got to think about is in the playoffs. This is a team that very much had World Series aspirations. And I mean, again, they have a good amount of depth. And it seems like, kind of taking a look at things, Adam Duvall seems to be the guy who's gonna take right field in Acuna Jr.'s absence. But Adam Duvall's a good depth guy. I certainly don't think the Atlanta Braves envisioned him starting as many games as he is set to start. He had a good year. He had a good year last season for your Red Sox, AJ. But
he did.
I mean, that was as a depth piece. That wasn't as an everyday starter.
No offense to Adam Duvall, but you're no Ronald Acuna Jr. And when Strider went down, it was like, okay, they can go out and get someone. They can go out and get a pitcher at the deadline, because it sounds like the pitching market at the deadline is going to be just ridiculous. But I don't care who you go out and try to get to replace Ronald Acuna Jr. You're not going to get anyone. You're not going to get anyone even remotely on the same level. And without Spencer Strider and without Ronald Acuna Jr. come the playoffs, and that's, I'll just throw this out there, Carson. I don't even know if the Braves make the playoffs now, which I know sounds crazy.
Whoa.
I know. Hot take alert. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they've been okay so far. Like you said, they've still been playing pretty well. They've been hanging tough, but it's only June, and realistically, I'm wondering how long can they hang in there without these two guys on the roster. Especially Ronald Acuna Jr. That offense is going to miss him. Well, I mean, his offense. He's obviously known for his offense, but that they're going to miss him on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
And I don't know. I don't know if they make the playoffs, and if they do, it's probably. I mean, again, unless the Phillies just absolutely fall apart, which I don't see happening. The Phillies are way too good. That most likely means the Braves end up as a wild card, and I don't see them. The wild card round. I know it's a best of three, but I don't see them winning 2 out of 3. I don't see them winning 2 out of 3 against anybody in that National League without Ronald Acuna Jr. and without Spencer Strider. So sorry, Braves fans. Not trying to pile on your team or pile on you guys, but I just don't know. I don't know if they make the playoffs, which is something that words that never would have left my mouth. Even just a month ago.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
But on the flip side of that just the fact that, okay, most teams, they lose one player for the season. You go, okay, that sucks, but they'll be okay. They'll still make the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. That right there, I mean, this is exhibit freaking A of how important and how valuable Ronald Acuna Jr. is to the Braves.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He is a franchise guy. He is a guy that you would want to build your team around. And
Yep.
It's crazy to think that, for the Braves, it's panic time.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm a Braves fan, or if I'm the Braves, I am 100% hitting the panic button right now. Yeah, that just sucks. Especially, and it's even worse because it's his ACL, and he's had knee injury problems in the past. And obviously, hoping that, wishing nothing but the best for him, and everything goes well with the surgery and whatnot. But Carson, even if he does come back, which won't be at least until next year, and maybe not even, I mean, hopefully spring training, but maybe not until later. Chances are he's not going to be the same player.
No, absolutely not. I mean, ACL tears are brutal.
Yeah, that's no joke. So yeah, anyways, that's where we're at with the Braves. Wow, just what a lousy turn of events for Braves fans. Who had to have been sitting there coming into this year and thinking, we're going to get over the hump this year. They've had the struggles in October the last couple of years, and they had to think, all right, we're going to get over the hump this year, and they just aren't, not this year. So, anyways, yeah, sticking in the, oh man, Braves fans, if you think you have it bad, just be grateful you're not Mets fans, because wow. Yeah, the Mets have been a train wreck this season. And now Edwin Diaz, their superstar closer, has hit the IL with a shoulder injury, Carson. And Pete Alonso left Wednesday's game after getting hit on the hand with a pitch. And that's not even the worst of the Mets issues, but those are we'll talk about the other issue they had here in a second. But talk about things going from bad to worse for Mets fans.
As if the liquor cabinets of New York Mets fans were not already empty, they certainly are now. Yeah,
Yep.
the Mets have been a subway car that has gone off the tracks, off the road, off the planet.
Yeah.
It has been a bad time to be a Mets fan, and I think it only stings that much worse that the crosstown rivals are doing so well. But yeah, they're worse than the Nationals right now, which
Brutal.
is not where this team should be at all.
No, they shouldn't be. But I mean, I didn't really have a whole lot of expectations for the Mets coming into the season, anyways, because they really didn't do much this offseason because of payroll and whatever. But yeah, it's been a rough go for Mets fans this year. And yeah, having never lived in an area with crosstown rivals, like New York has, obviously the Yankees and the Mets. You know what? New York's got a lot of that. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, they really do.
New York's got the Yankees and the Mets, the Rangers and the Islanders, and I guess you could probably lump the Devils in there too if you wanted to. And then in football, you've got the Jets and the Giants, even though they play at the same stadium and even though they play in New Jersey. But we'll just ignore that little geographic issue. And then, and then you've got the Knicks and the Nets. The Knicks play in Manhattan, the Nets play in Brooklyn. So, yeah, that's kind of. But anyways, getting back to baseball, seeing the Yankees play as well as they are. That's got to be some serious salt in the wound for Mets fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of go back to your point of not having a lot of, I didn't necessarily have a lot of expectations for the Mets this season either, but it kind of feels like that one meme of the picture of the sign that says our expectations for you were low, but holy F. Like that's kind of what this Mets season feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if your expectations are low, like you still want to see your team be competitive, and the Mets really haven't been. But hey, guess what, Mets fans? You can take heart in the fact that Juan Soto will be a New York Met next year.
Is that the official prediction?
Yeah, Juan Soto will be a New York Met next year. You heard it here first, ladies and gents.
Wow.
Yep. I'm calling
Juan
it now.
Juan Soto a Met.
I'm calling it now. Juan Soto will sign with the Mets.
That would rub some people the wrong way.
Yes, it would. I'm pretty sure every Yankees fans' heads would explode, which would be quite entertaining sitting here as a Red Sox fan. No, I just don't see. I've seen and read too much. I've seen and read a lot of stuff that's leaning toward Juan Soto not being back with the Yankees next year, and those same opinions, those same pieces and pundits or whatever. Pretty much putting the Mets as the front. Like, if Juan Soto doesn't resign with the Yankees, the Mets are contender number 1 to sign him.
Okay.
So there you go. So hey, you just got to get through this year, Mets fans. This year's a little rough. Next year things will be much better. Next year your team will have your team's payroll situation will be much better. They'll have more money to spend, and you'll have Juan Soto, and then you can turn around and rub that in Yankees fans' faces. So, But sticking with the Mets, Carson, wow. Yeah. Sorry, hang on, everybody. I had okay, yeah. Wow, this was just such a bizarre, like, now ex-Mets reliever Jorge Lopez, Carson, in the course of one game, lost his lost his cool, lost his glove, and then lost his roster spot. This was just such a bizarre, like, turn of events. So for those of you who didn't see this, Mets reliever Jorge Lopez threw a pickoff attempt over to third base, which accidentally hit the third base umpire. And then on an ensuing play, the Mets were playing the Dodgers. On an ensuing play, Freddie Freeman, there was a Freddie Freeman check swing. That was honestly, it was a bit questionable. It was a bit iffy whether or not he swung or not. But the Mets appealed to the third base umpire who had been hit by the pickoff attempt. He ruled it no swing. Jorge Lopez lost his cool, got tossed, and Carson, on his way off the field, threw his glove into the stands.
Yeah. This
Wow.
was one that was particularly interesting, being someone who has seen Jorge Lopez pitch for his team. I have never seen him kind of lose his cool like that.
Oh, did he pitch for the Twins?
He did. Yep.
Oh,
He got,
I didn't know that.
because it was during the trade deadline. We had traded for him when he was having that all-star season in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he had played for the Twins.
Yes, but yeah, it was weird.
Anyways.
I've never really seen him lose his cool like that. But
yeah,
AJ, let's talk about this interview that happened afterwards.
Oh,
because
yeah, this was the worst. This was the worst part.
I feel so bad for him because, for anybody who may have been living under a rock with this situation. So, as AJ said, not a great outing, chucked his glove into the stands, ends up getting DFA'd. But after the game, he is in the locker room doing an interview. And there were many news outlets, including the biggest one I saw, I think, was John Boy Media, that quoted him as basically calling the Mets the shittiest team in baseball.
Yep.
Jorge Lopez ended up coming out with a statement after he had been DFA'd saying, I never said that. My English isn't great. I said that I was the shittiest teammate in baseball. And it makes a lot more sense that he would have said teammate, because he even started talking about, watching that interview broke my heart, because that is a man who is broken. He was talking about, I'll be here tomorrow if they want me here. And, a lot of people were like, well, geez, there you go. That's why you got DFA'd, good riddance. But at the same time, I don't know, AJ, maybe this is just me being the traditional optimist that I am and trying to see the good in people, but just watching that interview, it looks like a man who was broken. It looked like a man who was struggling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was obviously, and understandably, he was upset about what had happened during the game. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I feel like the DFA was. I feel like the DFA was a pretty extreme response on the part of the Mets.
Yeah, I mean,
that seemed like a bit much to me.
Right, and granted, they probably saw what everybody else saw too, and that he had said that it was the shittiest team, and throwing your gloves in the stands, and
Well,
You can't do that.
well, no. Yeah, obviously throwing your glove into the stands is not, yeah, like you can't do that. But, I mean, it was like, I don't know how long it actually took for him to be DFA'd, but it felt like it was almost instantaneous, which I thought was, yeah, I mean, I thought that was a bit extreme on the Mets part. Like they didn't, and maybe they did. I don't know for sure. I'm not privy to the inner workings of the New York Mets organization, but it feels like the Mets didn't even do their due diligence on this. They just, yep, you threw your glove, and then after the press conference, they just, yep, see you later, bye.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's just
Which sucks.
It's rough.
It's just a bad situation all around. I really hope Jorge Lopez catches on somewhere else. I mean, the dude made a mistake, like, and you just cut him loose. You just threw him in the trash. Like, I don't know. It's just a bad situation all around. The other part of this, was the reaction by the third base umpire, whose name I can't seem to find right now, but, can we, man, I know we've talked about umpires and umpiring ad nauseum this season. And we're going to talk about it more because they just keep finding new, they just keep reaching new lows. But the reaction by this third base umpire to, so the Lopez's pickoff attempt hit him accidentally. Okay, I get it. That's not, but one, it wasn't on purpose. Two, it felt like he took it personally and then turned around and made the call in the Freddie Freeman check swing. And because Jorge Lopez had the audacity to question the call, he just tossed him. Like, can we please, umpires, for 1 second stop making these situations worse on purpose? Please.
Yeah. It's just it's a weird situation all around, and there are reporters that in the wake of him posting that statement, as I kind of just took a little real-time research, are saying, like there was somebody at the press conference that asked him to clarify, and who clarified the question, and he still had the same response. So I don't know if this is something that we'll ever truly know.
Probably
I had
not.
also saw something. I had also saw something that that according to there have been some posts that that his son is also dealing apparently with a serious health issue and is waiting on a transplant.
Oh, man.
I've seen that kind of floating around on the web, but just an overall weird and honestly just a sad situation all around.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you just, you hope the best and send all your good vibes and good thoughts and everything to Jorge Lopez, and his family. And like I said, hopefully he catches on somewhere else. That would be awesome. And he gets another chance, to play baseball somewhere. But in the meantime, like, yeah, and like you said, this is probably one of those situations that we'll never really know what happened. We'll never get the whole story. But yeah, just a bizarre, crappy situation all around. All right, on to much, much lighter topics. Fair warning, everybody, I might get a bit ranty talking about this. Yeah, because boy, do I have thoughts. Any of you who have listened to the show with any regularity know that I'm a huge fan of the World Baseball Classic. It's one of my favorite sporting events. I love seeing baseball. The best players in the world and the best baseball players in the world play against each other. I will take the World Baseball Classic over baseball in the Olympics all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. But, yeah. So the 2026, the next edition of the Baseball Classic is in 2026. So, still a couple years away. But Carson, they've announced, MLB announced the venues for the 2026 tournament. And, yeah, so stop me if you've heard these before. So the 4 venues are as follows. Pool A will be played at Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Okay, check. That's cool. It's cool to see Puerto Rico, which is obviously a great baseball country. It's cool to see them get to host part of this event. Pool B will be played at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Okay. I mean, I'm not thrilled about that, but all right. It is kind of cool to see a city get to host the World Baseball Classic for the first time. Pool C will be playing in Tokyo at the Tokyo Dome. Again, no surprise there. And Pool D will be playing in Miami at Lone Depot Park. Again, okay, Miami again. But Carson, where I really have an issue with this thing is the semifinals and the championship game are going to be played at Lone Depot Park in Miami again for the second straight tournament. Can we not get what is? No offense to Miami or Lone Depot Park. I mean, I guess it's kind of a cool stadium, but how did Miami suddenly become so important and on the international sports stage?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the big thing here is that, this tournament is all about growing the game and getting it to different parts of the world, but yet we're still, even if you want to host it in the US again, fine. Just pick a different ballpark. Don't have it in the same city.
Yeah.
Exactly. I get that there's the Latin influence and everything in Miami, but you guys know that you can pick other cities, right?
Yeah. I mean, can we not have the semis and the championship in Tokyo? How cool would that be? Or even Puerto Rico. Have the championship in Puerto Rico. Yeah. Yeah, this is almost as bad as the upcoming World Cup final being played at MetLife Stadium, aka the ugliest stadium in the history of stadiums, in one of the ugliest places, New Jersey. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I know.
Well, I don't know. I think we're underselling Tropicana Field on that.
No, MetLife Stadium is just this hulking mass of concrete in the middle of the Jersey swamp. Tropicana Field is the ugliest baseball stadium. MetLife Stadium is
fair point.
And I'm sorry, the World Cup final, the biggest sporting of. I mean, the World Cup is arguably the biggest sporting event in the world. I mean, okay, maybe aside from the Olympics. The Olympics are bigger in terms of scope, but the World Cup final, all the stadiums you had to pick from, and you picked MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Yeah, I know there are nice parts of New Jersey. I've been to some nice parts of New Jersey. MetLife Stadium is not in a nice part of New Jersey. Anyways, I digress. I'm getting off track here. You have all these stadiums to pick from in baseball, Carson. They could have had it in San Francisco. They could have had it in LA. They could have, and I know this thing is played in March, so weather is a factor, and you can't have it in, generally speaking, you couldn't have it in you probably couldn't have it in Seattle, because of the weather, or Minnesota, or places like that. But and this is so frustrating to me. Yeah, I don't know. when this came out, I went, really? Miami again? Yeah, I really just don't get it. It really, I don't know about you, but it sort of takes away from, and I get it that most of the players playing in this thing are Major League Baseball players. But have they not noticed that Major League Baseball is made up of players from all over the world?
Yeah, it feels like that'd be something that you'd at least want to take note of. But
This doesn't, having the finals in Miami doesn't, it takes away from the international flavor of this thing. I guess is what I'm essentially getting at. And also, like, why have it in the same place 2 years in a row? I don't know. It's just it's baffling to me. But anyways, that aside, I'm excited to have the WBC back in 2026. It's a great event, and like I said, I'll take the WBC over baseball in the Olympics anytime. But we'll be talking more about baseball in the Olympics later. Speaking of cities that would be a great place to have a World Baseball Classic, Carson, Toronto, hello. But that aside, the Blue Jays became the latest team to unveil their City Connect jerseys, and I gotta say, man, like these are the best City Connect jerseys that we've seen in a while. Because the last couple, which I think were the Phillies and the Tigers, were a little iffy. But these Toronto ones are just, they're straight fire.
yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous. Like everything about it. I love kind of the neon look to it, the detail in the skyline, like the little purplish detail in the skyline. The hats are nice. It's not an abbreviation of Toronto. That's TOR. Like, mwah, perfect. Love them.
No, these are slick. Yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to see them yet, they're slick. They're some of the best ones I've seen. Like I said, the Phillies ones are, the Phillies and the Tigers were kind of even the Cardinals ones, the Cardinals ones were even a little iffy to me.
Yeah, the Cardinals ones were nice, but yeah, they just needed a little tweak, and maybe not to say the Lou, because that's weird.
Yeah, and didn't the Cardinals ones have the stupid 3-letter abbreviation on the thing too, don't they?
On the hat,
on the
STL.
hat. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, the Guardians came out with theirs recently. The Guardians ones are pretty cool. They remind me of the 90s, and the old Indians and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're getting down to the last. Carson, your Twins actually are going to be debuting their City Connect jerseys June 10th, it looks like.
I am excited and nervous all at the same time, because you will not have a very happy Carson if these things suck.
I don't know, man. I have a pretty good feeling. I think the Twins are going to do a good job with theirs.
I sure hope so, and I swear to God, if it involves any MIN, you will hear about it.
Yeah. Hopefully they have some sort of tribute to, the fact that, where the Twins name comes from with the, with the Twin Cities. And I don't know. I don't really know. I can't really explain why. I have a good feeling about the Twins. And apparently the Dodgers are coming out with new ones because they're so special that they get to have two. Whatever. Typical Dodgers. Yeah, we're the Dodgers. We're special. We get to have 2 City Connect jerseys. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point where every team's got a City Connect jersey. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are sort of middle of the road. Some of them are not so hot. Like we've talked about. But it sort of got me thinking, like, okay, what's the best one out of all of these? Or maybe not necessarily the best, but my favorite one. Obviously, my Red Sox and the yellow and blue, which I see a lot of people ragging on the Red Sox City Connect jerseys, and I want to clear this up. I see a lot of, why are they yellow? They're this bright yellow. Yellow and blue are the colors for the Boston Marathon. And the jerseys themselves are a tribute to 2013 and everyone affected by the marathon bombing in 2013. And that's why they say Boston and not Red Sox, and that's why they have the 617 patch, which is Boston's area code on the sleeve. So, but obviously obviously Carson, my favorite, somebody asked me my favorite City Connect jerseys, I'm going to say the Red Sox or the Mariners. But aside from those, man, I love, I love me some Arizona Diamondbacks City Connect jerseys. That cream color with the black and the red and the serpientes on the front. Oh man, talk about chef's kiss.
Yeah, those are still probably my favorites, but boy, oh boy, Toronto is like right there.
It's right there. It is. It's close. Yep, it is. It's right up there. I didn't think anyone was gonna even come close to Arizona. But the look at those. Those are just, oh man. Whew. Those are clean. Yeah, I didn't think anyone was ever going to come close to Arizona's, but Toronto did a pretty damn good job. As for least favorite, I mean, Astros, can we talk about the Space City?
Yeah.
Those are just, oh god. And the pants. They have that, they have the retro, when the Astros wore those hideous orange jerseys back in the day. They looked at those and they thought, yes, we should incorporate this color scheme into our City Connect uniforms. Ugh.
Yeah, disgusting.
They're hideous. Anyways, I guess that's enough jersey talk, but anyways, yeah, the Blue Jays nailed it with their City Connect jerseys. And I'm really, really excited to see what the Twins come out with for theirs, which is, again, the Twins are unveiling theirs on June 10th, Carson, and I believe I saw that they're going to wear them for the first time on the 14th.
Yeah, which is extremely exciting.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, man. Okay. I said we've been talking about umpires a lot, and we have been, and with good reason, because the umpires can't seem to keep themselves out of the headlines this year. But Carson, at the top of the show, we were talking about how the baseball news cycle went nuts because we took a week off, and boy did it ever. Pop the champagne, everybody. Angel Hernandez has retired.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I feel, yeah. Where's the angels? We need a sound effect of angels singing. Wow. This freaking, I mean, I don't know if you would call this unexpected, but this kind of came out of nowhere. Like, this wasn't he is going to retire at the end of the season. This was, he's retiring now, effective immediately.
Yeah, and in all honesty, there was some sort of settlement or something with MLB.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, there is no way he went on his own accord. MLB was like, look, Angel, buddy, here's what's going on. We will pay you money. It's time for you to go. It's just time.
Yeah, Angel Hernandez got the I'm not sure if I want to say that. I was gonna say Angel Hernandez got the Catholic Church treatment.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. And by that I mean, rather than facing punishment or rather than being held accountable for his actions, he just sort of got quietly, here's your money, Angel. Get out of here. Sneak, go out the back exit. He just kind of got shuffled out quietly. But regardless of how it happened or why it happened, Carson, Angel Hernandez is gone. He will never ruin another baseball game ever.
One of the worst umpires in not just MLB history, but truly in all of sports.
Oh yeah, one of the worst officials in any sport ever.
Like it's not even close. And
No.
I mean, yes, there are people that it's like, oh, we shouldn't remember him just for his bad calls, and it's like that's fair. He had a lot of service in MLB, but like, hello, there are literally there is at least a 15-minute compilation on YouTube of his worst ever calls. Like,
yep.
How can I not remember him for ruining so many games of the game I love?
I'm pretty sure there are several compilations on YouTube.
Oh, there's probably at least like 10.
Yeah, there's not just one. But yeah. Yeah, I get it. He was, he did put a lot of service time. Looks like his first major league game was in 1991. I mean, yeah, the dude was around a long time. But I feel like he overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. At a certain point, you just got to learn to hang it up. And
I think he stuck around for about a decade too long, because it feels like it's been the last decade or so that he's been this, like constant source of controversy. I mean, his completely seemingly arbitrary strike zone, his way too quick trigger on ejecting players. Oh, by the way, his unsuccessful lawsuit against MLB for discrimination in 2017. Yeah, Angel Hernandez has spent the last decade, Carson, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. And making headlines where, I might add, most umpires prefer not to be noticed and not to make headlines. And Angel Hernandez seemed to go out of his way to get his name in the news.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it. That is where the discrimination lawsuit is where I lost a lot of respect for Angel Hernandez.
Yep. Yeah, that was a biggie.
I lost a ton of respect for him after that.
Yeah, that was a big. I mean, I didn't have much respect for him to begin with, but yeah.
Good point.
That was the proverbial nail in the coffin, as it were. Yeah, so I mean, I wow. Again, I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he'll never be able to ruin another baseball game ever again. But here's my concern, Carson. My concern is that this is going to be the beginning of a trend for controversial umpires, that rather than being held accountable, they're just going to start quietly, shuffling them out the door. Angel Hernandez, obviously, CB Buckner, that's another one. I'm sure if I racked my brain, I could think of other names, but that's my concern, that rather than holding these guys accountable, MLB is just going to start quietly. Okay, here's your severance package. Okay, bye-bye. And I am not a fan of that. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair concern, but at the same time, like you had said, Angel Hernandez is, I think, a different case than a CB Buckner. Like Angel Hernandez, fair. Like you said, he was looking to make headlines. Yeah, he wanted to be the star of the show. He is just a stubborn man in general. If you disagreed with him, you were out. So I think it's a very valid concern, but I think it's just that Angel Hernandez was a special snowflake and not in a good way.
Yeah, who do you think Angel Hernandez voted for in 2016 and 2020? I bet I could hazard a guess. Anyways, 34. That's all I'll say about that. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Angel Hernandez is, he's a special case, all right. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that I think MLB is going to start, sort of shuffling these controversial umpires into early retirement or, forced retirement or anything like that. But, I mean, obviously, we all know many changes need to be made in terms of umpiring and the way umpires handle themselves and the strike zone, and that obviously needs to be addressed with the automatic ball strike system and whatnot. But the biggest thing to take away from this, Carson, is Angel Hernandez will never be given the opportunity to ruin a baseball game ever again, and that that, much like the events of the last couple of days in New York City, are cause for celebration.
Yeah. Goodbye, Angel. Thanks for your service, but
See ya.
See ya.
Yep. Bye-bye. On to a much, much lighter topic and good news for Shohei Ohtani and his fans and Dodgers fans and, quite honestly, baseball and baseball fans as a whole. Shohei Ohtani, who's obviously recovering from Tommy John surgery, is on the comeback trail. He has started throwing from 60 feet, throwing about 60, 70 pitches per session. This is great news. This is great news for all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering we weren't even sure if he was going to pitch again.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
That was a valid concern.
He really. It was a concern that we talked about ad nauseum on the show, and it's one of those things where Shohei Ohtani would have still been a great player either way, but it just feels like, all right, Shohei Ohtani is Shohei Ohtani again.
Yep. I mean, obviously he's not. There are no plans for him to pitch in a game at least until next year. But yeah, like Carson said, it was a valid concern when it was announced that he was having Tommy John surgery. There was a valid concern whether or not he would ever pitch at all. He would ever pitch again at all. So the fact that he's making such great progress to getting back on the mound, and pitching in an actual game, it's great news all around. Because Carson, I don't think it's going out on a limb to say that baseball as a whole in general is better when Shohei Ohtani is able to play at his full, at his highest level as the only two-way player in all of baseball and the first two-way player since Babe Ruth.
Yeah, completely agree. When he is able to play at his peak and at his best, there's not a lot of guys that are better in the game.
Yeah, or more fun to watch. I mean, I don't care if you. I mean, I despise the Dodgers. Like, I don't care if you're a Dodgers fan or not. Like, you objectively speaking, Shohei Ohtani is one of the most fun players in baseball to watch. So, this is great, awesome news. Yeah, good news all around. All right, everybody, brace yourselves. We've been sort of teasing this, all week leading up to the show today. So I'll just give you guys a little background in case you've been living under a rock for the last week. it was announced the other day that Major League Baseball was going to incorporate statistics from the Negro Leagues into the official MLB records. It was not a snap decision. It was something that has been in the works for a while, dating back to 2020, if I remember correctly. If you guys read the most recent edition of Two Strike Count, which if you haven't, what are you waiting for? And also, if you haven't subscribed to Two Strike Count, what are you waiting for? Go to eighth-inning-pod/Two Strike Count, and you can subscribe for free and get every issue delivered right to your inbox. But in case you missed it, I did talk about this in the most recent issue of Two Strike Count. I tried to not hold back, but I tried not to go too in depth because I knew we were going to be talking about it on the show, Carson. So, Major League Baseball made this decision. It was back in 2020. So this whole initiative started in 2020 when MLB announced that they would be, quote unquote, correcting a long-time oversight by incorporating the Negro League stats into the official MLB record books. As you would imagine, ladies and gentlemen, this has had this is a monumental move. Two, this has had a ripple effect on long-standing MLB records. The least of which, Carson, is not the least of which, I should say, is the fact that Josh Gibson has now replaced Ty Cobb as MLB's all-time career batting average leader. Gibson also passed Hugh Duffy for the best single-season batting average, and passed Babe Ruth for first all-time in slugging percentage and OPS. Carson, I don't think there's a word to describe how, you could call this a monumental change, but I don't think that does it justice.
No, not at all. And I mean, for again, this is something that I'm sure is destined to make some people unhappy, but at the end of the day, this is like MLB called it. It's an egregious oversight that they have corrected. It's great to see these guys get the recognition that they deserve, because at the end of the day, yes, Jackie Robinson was the guy that broke the barrier, but there were plenty of great players like Josh Gibson that came before him that never got the credit that they deserved.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts on this because, boy, do I have thoughts on this. Yes, I agree that the stats from the Negro Leagues, the fact that that before now they were not officially in the MLB record books, was, yes, it was, as MLB so delicately put it, a long time oversight. But here's oh boy, this is gonna be like this is gonna be like cleaning porta potties. I'm just gonna catch crap all day for this. I can already tell. Yes, I agree that the fact that these stats weren't recognized by MLB was, yes, it was an egregious oversight. But here's my tiny little problem with this. The reason that these stats were never recognized by MLB in the first place was because of MLB's own racist exclusionary policies that kept players like Josh Gibson from playing in MLB in the first place. So this is sort of like this is like somebody starting a fire in a building in a crowded theater, and then this is like an arsonist calling the fire department, Carson, to me. Does that make sense?
It does, and I do get where you're coming from.
Like the reason these stats weren't incorporated in the first place was because of MLB. Like that, I don't know. It feels like a I don't know if double standard is the right word, but like,
it feels kind of like they're doing it for a PR stunt in your mind.
It feels like they're so we had these exclusionary racist policies in place for basically for 30 years. The Negro Leagues began playing around the historic records are a little fuzzy because record keeping back then was not what it is today. But the Negro Leagues began play around 1920. Okay. Jackie Robinson didn't suit up for the Dodgers until 1947. So for 30 years, MLB and its owners and its organization and whoever else had a policy in place. Nope, we're not letting black players in Major League Baseball. I mean, they did eventually in 1947 when Jackie Robinson finally broke the color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers. But for 30 years, they kept black players out of MLB. And now, in 2024, they're going, oh, yeah, whoops. It's like they're going, oops, our bad. What can we do to fix this? Oh, I know. We can incorporate the Negro League stats into MLB's record books. That's what it feels like to me.
And again, I do see where you're coming from. I think it's a fair point. I think they should have done this sooner, but they
could have just not had those policies to begin with.
Or they could have just not had the policies to begin with. Yes, this is true.
You could have just not been a bunch of racist D-bags.
No, yes. And again, you're not inherently in no way am I disagreeing necessarily with anything that you've said, because I think you're 100% right. This doesn't happen if those policies aren't in place, aren't in place at all. And
right.
I'm not going to sit here and defend those policies, because who would? That's stupid. But at the same time, that was, I don't like, by no means do I like it, but that was what segregation was.
Right. That was the times.
That was the
unfortunately.
Time exactly. That was the time period that, would I have loved to see MLB take the initiative and be the ones to kind of start that change? Of course, obviously. But again, like they should have started this process way earlier than 2020. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like we do have to give credit where credit is due, because at least they're doing it now. Again, it should it have been done a long time ago? Absolutely. We could sit here and talk about we could sit here and debate the fact that these policies existed to begin with all day long. Right. But at the end of the day, they have corrected this mistake. They have called it a mistake.
Right.
And at the end of the day, these guys will get the shine. The players in the Negro Leagues will get the shine that they deserve. Did it come a little bit late? Yes, but at least MLB recognized it, and at least they're doing it.
You're right. They did it regardless of their motivations, which I'm extremely skeptical of. They did do it. Yeah, I mean the only other issue I think this is not an issue that I have with it, but the only other issue I've seen raised with this is the fact that as impressive of this as these statistics are, these were totally separate leagues. These players, Josh Gibson never faced Babe Ruth. These players never faced each other officially. So that's an issue that I've seen raised, but I don't that doesn't really carry any water for me. Like, okay, cool, they never faced each other. It doesn't really matter. That doesn't take anything away from the achievements and accomplishments of the Negro Leagues players. Yeah, I just I feel like I feel like Major League Baseball is somehow trying to, put its stamp of approval and give validation to the Negro Leagues and their players. But honestly, the Negro Leagues and their players, they don't need MLB's stamp of approval. Like, I feel like they did it. I feel like it's MLB is doing this a distraction. They're trying to distract or soften. They're trying to soften the impact that the policies had, and they're trying to distract from the fact that the policies existed in the first place. Because, like we just said, that was the times and everyone. But if things had been the way they should have been, Carson, the Negro League shouldn't have even existed in the first place. These players should have been able to play in MLB, but they weren't. And it just feels like MLB is trying to distract and minimize what happened. But that said, on the whole, I'm on board with this. I think it's a great idea. I think it should have been done a lot sooner. I do think, Carson, and I'm pretty sure we agree on this, it's a good thing to see these players finally get, not that they didn't get recognition before, but to get this level of recognition, which they have been denied for all these years.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. They are very deserving of this, and hopefully this brings, hopefully this is a very positive change. It's something that, as we've talked about, probably could have been done a while ago, but I'm glad that they're at least doing it now.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, this has got to be great for the relatives and descendants of and family members of these Negro Leagues players who are no longer with us. Like, this has to be an incredible feeling for them.
Absolutely, no doubt about that.
To sit there and finally see their family members, their relatives, finally see their achievements, recognized, albeit sort of kind of at the expense of established MLB records. I don't know. I'll say this to sort of put a bow on this thing, Carson. I don't envy the people in Major League Baseball who undertook this effort and who made this decision, because this is a no-win situation for those people. They're either going to be applauded or they're going to be crucified.
Exactly. Yeah. It shouldn't be like that, but
no, it shouldn't be, but that's where we are in well, I won't go too far down the rabbit hole about sports journalism, because I'll save that for my one last thing, but that's where we're at. But yeah, on the whole, I'm glad they did this. Long overdue. There are definitely some issues with it, but and I think we would both agree that we would rather We would rather that they did this than not do it.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
So yeah, that's where we're at with that. All right. Let's move on to some lighter stuff here. Let's get down to let's play some buy or sell. All right, let's just dive right into these, Carson. Buy or sell Jose Ramirez for American League MVP.
Yeah, I buy it. He's been absolutely on fire to start this season, and comparing yourself to Barry Bonds is certainly a choice, but
Yeah, that's a bold move.
it's a very bold move. But yeah, I see no reason to believe he couldn't be. So I'll absolutely buy this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely been a big part of Cleveland's success. But I think I think they'll sell this, and I'll throw another name out for all of you who this individual would get my vote for American League MVP if I had one. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals. Anybody?
Yeah, Bobby Witt certainly is certainly deserving of at least some love, if not winning the thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We probably all know that freaking Aaron Judge or Juan Soto is probably going to get this thing because that's how it always goes. This thing always turns into a popularity contest. They play for the Yankees. Let's give them the MVP award. But there are, aside from those two, I mean, you've got Gunnar Henderson, you've got Bobby Witt Jr., you've got Jose Ramirez. I would put Adley Rutschman in that conversation. Raffy Devers, anyone? Maybe a little bit on the outside, but Raffy Devers has had a Salvador Perez is a name I'm not hearing a lot. No, there's no shortage of choices for American League MVP this year. And I sincerely hope that the voters don't just let's give it to not that I'm saying Aaron Judge or Juan Soto aren't deserving of it, but come on. Like, you take one of those guys off the Yankees, and the Yankees are still the Yankees. You take Jose Ramirez. You take Jose Ramirez off the Guardians. The Guardians are in trouble. You take Bobby Witt Jr. off the Royals. I don't know. I think the Royals would still be good. They just wouldn't be as good. Take Raffy Devers off the Red Sox, and I shudder to think where my Red Sox would be without Raffy Devers. But yeah, that's where that is. Buy or sell, neither of last year's World Series teams, so the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, neither of last year's World Series teams will make it back to the Fall Classic this year.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy it just because I feel like there's so much parity right now in baseball that it seems hard to think that there could be there's so much parity and so many teams that are so good right now and on the rise, and I just don't see it happening. I don't think the Diamondbacks would be able to go on another run like they did last season. So I'm gonna sell this, or excuse me, buy it.
You mean buy it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, also aside from the throw in the fact that the Diamondbacks and the Rangers are both struggling this year. I mean, the Rangers are in second place in the AL West. They're 4 games behind my Mariners. Wow, I didn't think I'd be saying that in June. And the Diamondbacks are 26-32. The Diamondbacks have struggled this year. I don't know what the heck is going on. I mean, the Rangers have had a lot of injuries, but I don't know what is going on with the Diamondbacks. But Yeah, you know what? I'll buy this too. I don't think either at this point, where as things stand right now, no, I don't think either one of these teams gets back there. Plus taking into account what you just said, Carson, about how there's all these teams. I mean, if we're looking at the Rangers perspective, looking at the American League, you've got the Yankees, you've got the Orioles, you've got the Guardians, you've got the Royals, you've got the Twins, you've got the Mariners. You've got, I mean, even my Red Sox are sticking around in that conversation. Yeah, I mean, and in the National League, from the Diamondbacks perspective, although I don't think the National League is as deep as the American League. More on that in just a second. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I think gone are the days of. I mean, when was the last time we had a repeat World Series champion? I don't even know. Let's see. Last repeat World Series winner was. I mean, it's been a minute. Are you kidding me? Wow. The last repeat World Series champion we had, Carson. You can't be serious. Was the 2000 New York Yankees when they capped off their three-peat in 98, 99, and 2000.
Wow.
So I don't know how good your math is, everybody, but it's been 20-ish years since we had a repeat World Series champion. Because since then, yeah, Diamondbacks, Angels, Marlins, Red Sox, White Sox, Cardinals, Red Sox, Phillies, Yankees, Giants, Cardinals. I'm just making sure. Giants, Red Sox. The Giants almost went back-to-back in 2012 and 2013. That's when the Giants were in that bizarre, we're going to win the World Series every other year thing. No, the 2000 Yankees, ladies and gentlemen, were the last team to repeat as World Series champions. And it's not looking too good for that to happen this year. So, wow, that's nuts. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for baseball, Carson, but it definitely speaks to the parity in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many teams that could potentially take things over and go to the next level and break through and win the Fall Classic.
Yeah, that's actually kind of impressive that there's been that many teams that have won the World Series since. All right. We sort of talked about this earlier, but we'll dive a little deeper. Buy or sell the Phillies as the National League favorites.
Shut up and take my money. Absolutely, I buy this. They are on fire this season, and my goodness, they don't seem like they're slowing down anytime soon. So 100% I buy this.
Yeah, I mean, they're 41 and 18. Like they're on cruise control. However, I'm going to sell this, and here's why. That sure, okay, you've racked up 40 plus wins. You're flirting with breaking Seattle's record. A 20-something-year-old record for most wins in a season. But if you take a closer look at the Phillies' schedule, and I know you can only play the teams in front of you. You can only play the teams that are on your schedule. And you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. The team doesn't, you don't get to pick and choose who you play. The Phillies, a lot of these wins the Phillies have racked up, Carson, have been against, shall we say, subpar teams. They haven't really played. It's been a minute since they really played, since they faced some, any really tough competition. And I know that's not their fault, and I'm not penalizing them for it. But we've seen this story. We've seen this movie a few times before. Team goes on an absolute tear in the regular season. They run away with their division. They cruise into the playoffs, and then they have to sit around for that first weekend because of the wild card series, and they turn all the glow of their regular season into a wet fart. And I'm not saying that's necessarily what's going to happen with that Phillies team, but Carson, it's the President's Trophy curse, baseball version. I don't know, obviously, if that's going to happen to the Phillies this year. But it's happened so many times before. It's happened, and it seems to happen every year now. Where regular season success does not necessarily translate into postseason success. And for that reason, I'm telling you, I don't think the Phillies are the, odds on whatever favorites to win the National League pennant. Kind of like I alluded to earlier when I was saying that the National League to me isn't as deep competition wise as the American League. I mean, we talked about the Braves earlier. They're not going the places they want to go without Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider. The Brewers have been better of late. I'm still really not sure what to expect out of them. The Cubs are kind of hanging around. You got the Dodgers, who I don't think the Dodgers are going to do this. That being said, a team I would keep an eye on, assuming that they stay where they keep playing the way they have been and get into the playoffs and get a crack at this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I would keep a very watchful eye on the San Diego Padres.
Good call.
If you out there have not had a chance to catch a Padres game yet this year, I would highly recommend it. They're a lot of fun to watch, and they're a really good team. They don't get a whole heck of a lot of attention because they play in the same division as the Dodgers. But yeah, I would keep an eye on the Padres as we roll along here. And last but not least, Carson, buy or sell, Luis Arraez is the hottest hitter in baseball right now.
I will always buy anything that is positive of Luis Arraez, but I mean, we talked about when he was initially traded to the Padres that they'd probably use him as a DH and how that could potentially affect things, but it hasn't affected things any. The man is still dynamite at the plate, and maybe the Padres were playing chess while we were all playing checkers. I 110% buy this.
Yep, I'm buying this all the way. He is far and away the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Some might make the argument that Aaron Judge is the hottest hitter in baseball right now, but no, Luis Arraez is the hottest hitter in baseball right now. And oh, by the way, in case you're keeping score at home, Luis Arraez has not only won the last 2 batting titles, but won it last year in the National League with the Marlins and won it the year before in the American League with the Twins. And is a pretty damn good bet to win it again this year at the pace he's going at. So that is impressive. To say the least. Extremely impressive. Yeah, that's insane. All right, on to the mailbag. There we go. Oops. Oh, sorry guys. I accidentally closed one of my tabs here. Hang on. Where are we? Oh, here we go. Yeah, the mailbag. Don't forget, you can drop us a line at 8thinningpod.com/mailbag or at 8thinningstretch@gmail.com. And we might just read your message on an upcoming episode. We start with Anna B. Do you guys think it's time for the Blue Jays to rebuild?
Yes. Yes. I mean, but you rebuild around 3 guys. You rebuild around Bo Bichette, around Vlad Guerrero Jr., and Jose Barrios. That is who you rebuild around. But first and foremost, get John Schneider out of it. Like he's cooked. He's toast. He's done. That's the first step. But in short answer, yes, absolutely, it's time for them to rebuild.
Yeah, it's definitely time for the Blue Jays to rebuild. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, I agree with Carson. They do need to make a managerial change. John Schneider has completely lost that clubhouse, if he ever had it to begin with. Yeah, I agree about building around Vlad Jr. and Jose Barrios. Bo Bichette, however, Carson, I do not believe that Bo Bichette will be a Blue Jay after the trade deadline.
Ooh, I mean, it's certainly possible. You might have to. You might have.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you might have to give him up for a nice little prospect haul.
Yeah, I think his services are going to be. I mean, I don't know that I would go as far to say that Vlad Jr. gets traded also, but I mean, if things get bad enough in Toronto and they decide, okay, we're gonna blow this thing up, you might see Vlad Jr. on the move too. But I definitely think I'm 100% confident that Bo Bichette will not finish this season as a Toronto Blue Jay. I think some contender out there, Mariners, are going to make a tempting offer to the Blue Jays, and lure Bo Bichette out of Toronto. So, all right, Trevor H. What do you think about MLB possibly playing in the LA Olympics? Now, disclaimer: the Olympics are Summer Olympics in LA in 2028. There are ongoing talks between Major League Baseball and the organizers about having MLB players compete in the tournament, even though baseball is sort of like in and out of the Olympic program. Yeah. Thoughts, Carson?
Certainly interesting. I wouldn't necessarily hate it. Again, we want to grow the game, and playing in one of the biggest competitions in the world, if not the biggest, is certainly a good way to do that.
Yeah. My only issue with it, well, a couple. One issue is, well, and we don't know what the tournament structure would look at, how many teams would be in, but typically the Olympic baseball tournament is like 8-10 teams tops. It's whereas the World Baseball Classic is 20 teams. And the other thing is, and the big issue with this is, the Olympics are going to be taking place right around the same time as MLB gets to. Well, actually, let me see what are the actual dates here. 2028. Yeah. Slight problem with having MLB play in the LA Olympics, Carson. The Olympics take place from July 14th to July 30th. Isn't there some event on the Major League Baseball calendar that takes place around the same time?
Oh, I think now that I think about it, you might be right.
What's that thing called? What is it? What do they call that thing? The All Stars game?
All stars something.
Yeah. So, in other words, in order for MLB to participate in the LA Olympics, I don't even know. I don't even know what they would do in that situation. I will tell you this. if I even hear the words cancel an all-star game in the same sentence, we take to the streets with pitchforks. I'm not okay with that. Yes, I do think it would be cool. I mean, who doesn't want to see Shohei Ohtani, in a gold medal game in LA, probably at Dodger Stadium? Okay, that would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. But not at the expense of the All-Star game.
Yeah, 110% agree.
Nope. Sorry. Not for it. And besides, I mean, I know there would not be obvious benefits to having MLB players play in the Olympics, which hasn't happened in a very long time. But I feel like the reason, we've got the World Baseball Classic. I don't know. That was the whole point of the World Baseball Classic, was to have MLB players compete on an international level and represent their countries. So let the amateur players let the college players have the Olympics. That's what the Olympics are supposed to be anyways. It's supposed to be an amateur competition, even though the NHL and the NBA have ruined that. But that's another discussion for another time. Anyways. All right. Holly P. Are you more surprised by the Phillies or more disappointed by the Rangers?
I would say at this point, I'm more disappointed by the Rangers. Coming off of a world championship, you don't necessarily expect a team to go out and be this kind of inconsistent. I mean, they're below 500 right now, 4-6 in their last 10, including losing a series to my Minnesota Twins, which as much as I loved that for the Twins, that can't happen.
They also got swept by the Rockies.
Yeah, that can't happen if you're trying to defend a world championship.
Yeah. I was there for one of the games. The Rockies kicked the crap out of them. It was 8-3 or something. You know what? I don't think I'm either. I'm not that surprised by the Phillies. The Phillies, Carson, the Phillies have been really, really freaking good for the last 3-4 seasons. I'm not really surprised by how good the Phillies are. And on the same token, I'm not that disappointed in the Rangers, because I mean, look at all the injuries the Rangers have had to deal with. And we knew the Rangers were going to be short, no Max Scherzer, no Jacob deGrom to start the season. We knew that way back in spring. We knew that before spring training, that they were both going to be out for a good chunk of the season. Throw in all the other injury issues they've had, and I know someone who would vociferously disagree with me. There's your vocab word for the day, by the way, boys and girls, vociferously. I know someone who would probably vociferously disagree with me, but I think the Rangers are right about where you'd expect they'd be, given all the injuries they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so I don't think
it's been a bad year.
Yeah, it's a tie on this one. It's a push. The Phillies are as good as I thought they would be, and the Rangers are right about where I thought they. I mean, I guess I thought the Rangers might be a little better, that they would weather the storm a little better with no deGrom and no Scherzer. But they've just had so many other injury issues. So, I don't think I'm either. Anyways,
the Phillies are who we thought they were.
Yes, they are who we thought they were. Shout out to the great Denny Green. Dana M wants to know, how worried should Dodgers fans be about their offense right now?
I mean, I would say being worried is fair, but I don't think it's necessarily I don't think it's a 5-alarm fire just yet. Like, yes, be worried, but it's the Dodgers. They got time to figure it out. I think it'll all be okay.
Dana, I don't know if I'm assuming Dana's a Dodgers fan. Dana, if you've got a panic button, hit it. Start hitting that panic button. The Dodgers, let's see, when is this? They've been in a slump stretching back into May. They're averaging 3.4 runs per game right now. And have been held to 3 or fewer runs 6 times. Yeah, that's not good. Yes, I agree with my illustrious co-host, that it is the Dodgers. They do have a ridiculous lineup. They do have time to figure it out. But as of right now, as the calendar has flipped to June, yeah, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out if I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm worried about this offense. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm pretty close to a 10. As of right now. So I don't know. I mean, they'll probably figure out. They'll probably be fine. Probably. Jason L. Has Paul Skeens been the most impressive rookie so far this season? That's a bold statement, Carson.
Carson. No. If Shota Imanaga didn't exist,
yeah,
the answer would be yes. But gotta be Shota Imanaga. Paul Skeens has come on the scene and been very impressive. But Shota Imanaga has been absolutely nuts to start this season. For me right now, it's got to be Shota Imanaga.
So Shota Imanaga to you is not just the most impressive rookie pitcher this season. He's the most impressive rookie in overall.
Yes.
Okay. I just making sure. Yeah. I mean, Skeens and I do agree with you that if Shota Imanaga wasn't in the picture, then Paul Skeens would be. Well, I don't know. I've been I will see your Shota Imanaga, Carson, and I will raise you a Colton Cowser. Carson, did we lose you? Hello?
Nope, I'm here. Hello.
Oh, okay. Hi. Colton Cowser to me has been the most impressive rookie so far this year.
Yes, he has been quite good for the Orioles out there in Baltimore. That's for sure. I am ashamed to say I kind of forgot about him.
I mean, that's understandable. There's been a lot of, Colton Cowser, Shota Imanaga, Michael Busch for the Cubs, Jackson Merrill for the Padres, Evan Carter for the Rangers, Mason Miller. Oh my God, Carson, how did we forget about Mason Miller?
Because he plays for the Athletics.
I knew you were going to say that. We should be ashamed of ourselves. No, if I had to pick one most impressive rookie, I would go with Colton Cowser. I've been just blown away by that kid. So, all right, and last but not least, Ben W. Going a little bit outside the box here. Carson, Ben W would like to know what are some of our favorite podcasts to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, this is probably going to sound nerdy, but or I have been listening to for quite some time now. It's called American Scandal. I am a big history buff, and the podcast kind of goes into it breaks down into kind of different series, and each series is about a different scandal in American history. And there's like four episodes, and they kind of tell it's like a storytelling podcast kind of thing. So they kind of go like from the perspective of kind of go from the perspective of everybody that's involved in the podcast or in the scandal. Like for example, actually, it's kind of funny that that we're talking about this today, because the one that I'm on right now is one about the FBI, Mr. Steve Cohen, the current owner of the New York Mets. So it was kind of cool to be like, oh wait, I know that name. Ooh, this is going to be good. So yes, American Scandal, very good, love it.
That sounds kind of awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out. Any others? Any other favorite podcasts, Carson?
And it's also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for those of you who aren't Spotify people.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out. Any other favorite podcasts? Carson.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello?
Any other favorite podcasts? Okay. What the heck?
I mean, that's kind of the big one I've been listening to lately. I've kind of dabbled a little bit in I've dabbled a little bit in like some rewatch podcasts like Office Ladies with Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey. There's one about The Sopranos. There's one about Band of Brothers. But right now, American Scandal has kind of been my go-to.
Yeah, that one sounds really good. I will definitely have to check that one out. Yeah, my two big ones, I guess. I'm a big fan of a lot of you know I'm the big movie buff. I like the Rewatchables. That's part of the Ringer Bill Simmons podcast network.
I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah, the Rewatchables is really cool. So basically every episode is about a different movie. And they really do like a deep dive into the movie, like the most rewatchable scenes and the best parts of the movie and the worst parts of the movie, and just, sort of like and they really I mean they've made a few questionable picks over the time that they've been doing it, where they'll be like, oh yeah, this movie, and you'll go, that movie is not a rewatchable movie for me. But for the most part, they do a really good job. I actually got into it because I just randomly happened to catch an early episode. Like, it might have been the first episode, or it was definitely one of the first episodes they did. Was about one of my all-time favorite movies. That sort of goes back and forth between occupying the top spot on my favorite all-time movies. And that's the movie Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Val Kilmer and Ashley Judd and Tom Sizemore, and just a ridiculous cast. Easily the best heist movie they're ever made, and one of the best movies of all time, and features the first time ever that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino have been in the same movie together and been on screen together at the same time. Anyways, yeah, the Rewatchables is a big one for me. And the other one I really like, it's called WTF. It's with Mark Maron, who's a writer, comedian, actor. If you guys watched the Netflix series Glow, he was a big part of that. And every episode he interviews a different, mostly celebrities, mostly actors, but a lot of mostly celebrities and entertainment personalities, but also also some other sort of cultural figures. And it's really kind of bare bones. It's just him and whoever his guest happens to be that week. And he does it from his garage. And it's just him and whoever the guest is, just sitting around in his garage having a conversation, talking about all kinds of stuff. And that's a really good one. So anyways, that's the mailbag. Thanks for everyone who wrote in. Don't forget, drop us a line at eighth-inning-pod.com/mailbag or eighth-inning-stretch@gmail.com, and we just might read your message on an upcoming episode. Real quick, some must-watch games. Starting Monday, we've got the Brewers and the Phillies in Philly. That's going to be a great series. Obviously, the Phillies are where they're at, and the Brewers have been playing the Brewers have been playing good baseball lately too, so that's a big one. We've got the Royals and the Guardians in Cleveland. Little AL Central showdown there. Arguably the two best teams in the American League right now, going at it head to head there in Cleveland, and that starts on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, the aforementioned San Diego Padres hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks at Petco Park in a NL West rivalry, as the D-backs continue to try to get themselves back on track. Carson, do you have a tankathon for us?
Twins Yankees, another one obviously for bias for myself, but also a big series with potentially huge implications for the Twins in terms of the AL Central, with the Royals and the Guardians also having a series.
Yep.
We do have a tankathon again this week.
Yes.
And it's one that really hurts. It really hurts my heart, because I had picked this team to be the National League representative of the World Series. I picked with my heart again, which I really got to stop doing that. It is the Cincinnati Reds traveling to Coors Field to take on the Colorado Rockies.
That is that is a bad series. Yeah, man, the Reds have had a rough go of it this year. Talk about injuries. And the Rockies are the Rockies. But as I always say, when you pick a Rockies home game as a tankathon, at least, yes, you may be going to see some bad baseball, ladies and gentlemen, but at least you get to watch it at arguably the most beautiful ballpark in Major League Baseball, Coors Field. So, there's that consolation. All right. One last thing. I did have a bit of a rant planned here. I'll try to keep it short because I know we're I'll try to keep it abbreviated because I know we're getting up there on time. But just sort of I'll just get right to the point. I was, perusing my Twitter feed as one does, and came across a tweet the other night, after the Mariners had beaten the Astros. Ben Verlander, who's a so-called sports journalist, tweeted that he took issue with the way opposing fans cheer when teams pitch Jose Altuve inside. or anytime Jose Altuve has a close call at the plate where there's a pitch high and inside that, comes close to hitting him. And Verlander was shocked. He basically said that, he didn't like the way fans cheered when Jose Altuve got, thrown high and inside. And he thought that, fans would cheer if opposing fans would cheer if Jose Altuve got, seriously injured in a game, which is utterly ridiculous. And it was just this weird tweet, like sticking up for the Astros and, the Astros don't deserve to get booed everywhere they go and all this other. I mean, first of all, the Astros deserve every bit of negative karma they get from now until the end of time, including Jose Altuve, for committing the biggest cheating scandal in the history of professional sports. But we all know that story. And anyways, this tweet just got me thinking about the current state of sports journalism. The sad state that sports journalism is in currently. Sports journalism used to be a field inhabited by people with integrity and people who were committed to actually being journalists and reporting on stories and offering their opinions on things going on in sports and and putting out informative, thought-provoking content. And now, sadly, we've pretty much gone from sports journalism to these sports journalism outlets, your ESPNs, your basically you name your sports outlet. They've gone from being news outlets and opinion outlets to, they've basically turned into sports tabloids. It's all about getting clicks and views and putting out these sensationalist garbage. And it's pretty sad because it feels like, for the most part, all the good sports journalists are gone, or will be gone soon. Your Jackie McMullins, your Bob Ryans, your Peter Gammons, Dan Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
I could go on. It seems like they're all out of the business. They're all out of the business, or will soon be out of the business, because time catches up with all of us, unfortunately. And it sucks, and it kind of makes me kind of nauseous. Reading and watching some of the stuff that's out there. I'll be honest with you guys, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched ESPN. For not for games, but I couldn't tell you the last time I watched Sports Center or First Take or any of that stuff. And it's just sad. And it just really sucks. That being said, part of why, obviously part of the reason I started the eighth inning stretch in the first place and brought Carson on board and brought producer Tasha on board, part of the reason this thing got started in the first place, obviously part of it was sharing a passion for baseball, and sharing a passion for baseball with baseball geeks like us, and new baseball fans alike. But the other part of the reason this thing got started in the first place was because I saw what was happening to the sports journalism landscape and was determined to do even our modest part to, even when all these other sports journalism outlets are going the way of the tabloid, to continue to make sure that there is fun informative, thought-provoking, quality sports journalism content still out there somewhere. And I will sit here right now talking to all of you, and I will tell each and every one of you that me and Carson and producer Tasha, we promise, we will make a promise to you, we will make a guarantee to you that we will continue to churn out fun, thought-provoking, informative, and quality sports content, even when all these other outlets are failing at it. Yeah, that's where I am. I'll put my soapbox away now.
Yeah, well said. You know, it really is a disappointing that, you know, news landscape has kind of turned into clickbait and hot takes, and nobody really truly, it feels like, analyzes things
and
anymore,
it's not
make
just
sure that their facts are straight.
I'm glad you said that, because it's not just sports journalism. That's journalism in general, but that's another discussion for another time.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, my one last thing is not baseball related. Now, before all of you groan, it's not like political or anything like that. This is just me being a little bit sentimental with we're shifting focus to the NBA here. I felt it was only right that I give a little eulogy for my Minnesota Timberwolves, although they played in Game 5, they were Minnesota Timber Puppies. But a lot like with the Timberwolves this year, a lot of kind of what I felt about the Twins last season has very much translated over to the Timberwolves with about 5 times more happiness. This, you know, let's not beat around the bush here. This team has sucked for 20 years. Realistically, I mean, even when we get into the playoffs, it's like, okay, cool, we're here, but like, we're probably about to get destroyed. You know, got destroyed by Houston when Jimmy Butler was here. That whole saga, you know, blew the series against Memphis. But this year, this team just felt different. And I mean, Anthony Edwards is an absolute stud. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, I tweeted out he was a fraud at one point, but that was just purely out of anger. He's an absolute stud. He's a star in this league. But man, just the run of not only just the run itself, where you sweep a big 3 of Phoenix in Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. You go into Denver, lose 3 straight games after taking a 2-0 series lead, come back and win in Denver in Game 7 to get to the conference finals. It was just the run itself was great, but the way that the entire state came around to this team, and the way that Timberwolves fans could all celebrate because of the fact that finally we have a team that it feels like is going to be good for a long period of time, for the first time really ever in franchise history. And we have a young star that we can build around. It just feels like this, you know, obviously would I have loved to see them go to the finals? Of course. But at the end of the day, this is a really great step for this team, because now we know what it's like to go on these deep playoff runs. Like Anthony Edwards said, you got to train like you're going to make a long playoff run. You just do. And I think now we're going to be able to go into next season fully fresh, re-energized, ready to take the league over again. And Celtics in 6.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah. Yeah, I know it doesn't soften the blow right now, but yeah, I've got a feeling that the T-Wolves are going to be very good for a very long time. You guys will win a title in the next few years, for sure. Yeah, but in the meantime, go Celtics, down with the Mavericks. Beating Kyrie Irving in the finals is going to be so sweet after all the crap he pulled in Boston, and all his idiotic flat Earth crap. That's going to be extra sweet. But yeah, I think that is just about all we have for you guys. And I closed my tab again. Sorry. Don't forget, you can catch us live just about every Sunday on YouTube, on Twitter, and at eighth-inningpod.com/live stream. Probably. Producer Tasha and I will be looking at the numbers from today's live stream on the website and see how it did. And we'll kind of go from there. We'll keep you guys posted about that. But anyways, we'll definitely live on YouTube, Twitter, and on demand anytime at linktree/eighth-inning-stretch. Don't forget to follow us at 8th-inning-pod on Twitter. And for more, including our newsletter/blog, 2-Strike Count, which you can get delivered right to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by subscribing. By the way, subscribing is free. And our original documentary series, The Book of Baseball, head to eighth-inningpod.com. Please help us continue making the best indie baseball content this side of home plate by supporting the show using the QR code on your screen or at eighth-inningpod.com/donate. Again, if you're streaming this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap for another edition of the 8th Inning Stretch. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Either whether you listen to the live stream, whether you're listening to this on demand on your favorite podcast platform, whatever. We say it all the time. We could not and would not be doing this without you guys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for following us. Thanks for reading and subscribing to 2-Strike Count. Anything and everything you guys do to support us. We appreciate it all. Forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Happy Pride Month to everybody celebrating. Have an awesome Pride Month. I guess that's about all we got for you guys. All right, thank you all so much for tuning in and for all your support. We'll be back with you live again next Sunday. Carson, I'm pretty sure we'll be on at our regularly scheduled time next Sunday.
I'm pretty sure of that. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be back at our regularly scheduled time at 10 a.m. Eastern next Sunday. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.